Today I'm visiting the world's richest country of Monaco.
And I've been here for half an hour and it really feels like a theme park for rich people. With luxury buildings and shops everywhere, fancy cars parked in front of the casino that we will visit later today, and a full harbor full of luxury yachts worth millions. Everything here feels super luxurious but also so beautiful and unique. Since we are in a tiny Mediterranean country that's surrounded by France but has a very distinctive vibe and culture.
So right now we are in the Marina of Monaco with my friend Stella, and this is where all the yachts are. So Monaco is known as the capital of super yachts. And when you arrive to the city center, the marina is the first thing you see. And as you can probably expect, I've never been on a super yacht in my life, but this is obvious to me that these are expensive. They're all super shiny and well maintained, and a quick Google search tells me that a lot of those are owned by billionaires. Also, if you want your own, Monaco hosts a yacht show every year where you can buy and sell super yachts. Last year, the total value of the yachts that were there was $4.3 billion, which is just around the GDP of a small country. And obviously this is a bit out of budget for a trip, so we wanted to see how much it will cost to charter a yacht for a week. And after looking at all the options available, we found one that really stood out to us. And when I say it stood out, I mean that in the most literal way possible. Because this yacht is really so big and it's towering over the others. Like, look at how tiny my friend Stella looks compared to it. Even the buoys are massive. So let me introduce you to the Mimti. It is a super yacht that's around 260 feet or 80 meters long, which is 4 times as long as my apartment building is high. It can host 12 guests and 24 crew, and it has a spa, a swimming pool, and even a smaller boat attached to it. A week on it costs almost $1 million, so I think we will just pass and explore Monaco by land instead.
So looking at these yachts, I want to touch on why Monaco is the richest country in the world. It's obviously a tax haven for very wealthy people, which means you don't pay taxes on your income or on capital gains if you live here. So it tends to attract really rich and famous people. And this really drives home prices up. It is the most expensive real estate market in the entire world. And just to give you an idea, the average price of apartments sold in 2021 was 10.2 million euros, which is pretty insane.
And it's no surprise to me that people want to live in Monaco because it's such a beautiful place. Also, it's right next to the Mediterranean, so it is super sunny and that feels really good. Right now we are climbing up to the oldest part of Monaco called Le Rocher, which means the rock in French, because it is just built on one and we have to climb all of these steps to reach the top. So at the top of this rock is the Prince Palace. And I really want to stress the fact that Monaco, even though it seems it's located within France geographically, is its own independent country with a whole different government and a prince, and also a different culture. And from up there, the views are pretty insane. So obviously we can see the marina and all the yachts we've seen before, but also what seems pretty crazy to me is all these buildings rising up from the ground. It feels like the whole country is built vertically. And apparently Monaco is one of the densest countries in the world. And also look at how beautiful these houses overlooking the sea are. They're all super cute and colorful and really well located. And walking around the Old Town kind of reminds me a bit of Italy with the yellow houses and the shutters. But there's just so many Monaco flags around town that I'm instantly reminded of where I am. But come with us and check out one of the coolest little Mediterranean gardens I've ever seen. And I think this was my favorite part of our trip. It is just so beautiful, and I really love how the plants blend in with the cliff.
And from over here you get a really nice view over Monaco. And you can really see that it is pretty small. It is the second smallest country in the world after the Vatican, and it is smaller than Central Park in New York. And since the country is growing so much and land is super scarce, they just decided to build into the sea. So this neighborhood that you see over here was totally reclaimed from the sea in the 70s. And I've read that around a quarter of the surface of Monaco is artificial, and that they're not gonna stop there because they're building a whole new neighborhood right next to the casino of Monte Carlo.
And we'll go there in a bit, but first we need to go get food. And since everything is so expensive, we're going to hit the super cute food market first. So here we really wanted to eat a local specialty, so we just walked around the market, asked around, and finally found food that's considered the national dish of Monaco. And it was so interesting to see how many different countries' foods were in this market, and also how many different languages were being spoken. So the official language of Monaco is French, but there's also a local language called Monégasque, and a lot of people also speak Italian or English. And if you like learning languages, you should check out the sponsor of this video, Lingopie. Lingopie is a really cool way to learn a language through watching TV shows and movies. And my favorite French TV shows at the moment are 10%, or Call My Agent in English, and Lupin. And you can watch these and many others with Lingopie. And I always recommend these shows to people learning French, since it's just a good way to be immersed immersed in the language and the culture. And also, let's say it, watching a show on your couch is way more fun than just doing grammar exercises. With LingoPie, you'll have all the language learning tools you need while watching your favorite shows. You can turn on the French subtitles and even have a translation in English at the same time. And every time you don't know a word, you can click on it, and you can also add it to your flashcards so that you can practice after. And I really wish LingoPie existed back when I was watching Gossip Girl as a teenager to improve my English, because they make it so much easier to learn a language just from watching a show. You can use my link in the description below to get a 7-day free trial and a 70% discount on the lifetime plan. So go ahead and sign up for LingoPie while we eat our food. So here we have a savory pastry that from the outside looks a bit like a dumpling, but is actually filled with Swiss chard. It is called barbajoin, and it is the national dish of Monaco. It was super tasty and crunchy, and I actually really liked it. The other food we got is also a Monaco specialty, and it's a Swiss chard rice and egg tart. And it was pretty good, but it was also super filling. Like, if you eat one slice of tart, then you're not hungry for the whole day. We also got a bit of soca, which is the chickpea flatbread that comes from Nice, on the other side of the border. So all of this was around 14 euros, which is $15 for 2 people. And it really gave us all the energy we needed to go out and explore again. And another thing I knew about Monaco is that they're famous for their Monaco Grand Prix, which is a Formula 1 race that has been held every year for at least a century. And walking around town, there were some places that made me do a double take, like I had seen this before. And it's because the Grand Prix racetracks have to be within the border of the country, so they have no other option than to convert the whole country into a racetrack since they're so small. And since we didn't come during the Grand Prix, we decided to go to the other place where you can see really fast and expensive cars, which is the private car collection of the Prince of Monaco. So this is the personal and private collection of the Prince that has been turned into a museum. There's around 100 cars there from many different periods of history, and it was really cool to see all the Formula 1 cars because I had never seen one in real life before.
So being the richest country in the world, a lot of people tend to forget that there's a lot of normal people who live in Monaco too, and who are not super wealthy. So when I was doing my research for this video, I've seen that the average salary is around 4,500 euros, which is pretty high, but obviously not enough to buy a 10 million euro apartment. And finding affordable housing can really be an issue for people who live here, especially since it's such a tiny country and a lot of the apartments sit empty for most of the year, since you only need to live in Monaco for 3 months a year to be a tax resident. So 2/3 of Monaco nationals live in state-owned apartments that can be anywhere in the city. Like this building here is supposed to have around 70 state-owned apartments, and it's only a 10-minute walk away from the fancy harbor where we saw all the yachts earlier. And apparently these apartments have cheaper rents, with even the option to be helped by the state to buy the apartment. I find that so fascinating because it's one of the only countries where that happens. And you know, just looking at the apartments, they look very normal, and they're in the same building as the 10 million euro apartment, which is pretty crazy. But this is not always enough, since 3/4 of people who work in Monaco don't live in Monaco. If you go and cross the border, the home prices are already divided by 5. So a lot of people live in France. For example, right now I'm in Beausoleil in France, which is a town that's right by the train station and 10 minutes away from Monaco. And there's also quite a lot of people who choose to live in Nice, which is the really nice French city where we are staying. The train ride here only takes 20 minutes, and you have super cool views over the coast. So if you're visiting Monaco, I really recommend you do the same thing we did and stay in Nice, as we got a 4-star hotel for only 50 euros a night, while in Monaco the cheapest hotel was 200 euros. And this leaves us more budget to enjoy the city and go to the casino. And you've probably seen the casino in so many movies. And from the outside, it's just a really beautiful building with a lot of fancy cars parked in front of it. And you know, after seeing the Prince collection earlier, we know a thing or two about fancy cars. And before going inside, we asked this really nice group of people to take a video of us in front of the casino, and they really did a good job. And going inside, everything is so beautiful, especially the ceilings. And obviously it's a casino, so you can gamble, but that's not what we're gonna do because the odds are always better at the bar. So we're gonna enjoy a good glass of champagne to end our trip, and we'll take the train back to Paris tomorrow. I'll see you there.